Well, we had a beautiful run of weather between the rain showers here in Northern Ireland that lasted all of 3 or 4 days, and I decided to lift the HW97 and go out after a rabbit or two. But instead of going out at my usual time, coming up to dusk, it was so hot and muggy the night before I decided to head out the next morning when it was cooler. So as you can see, I'm slowly making my way down the side of the hedgerow, looking to see if I can spot any rabbits. I've already checked 1 or 2 hot spots before this with no luck, but managed to spot this rabbit about 80 yards away. Too far for a 177 12 foot-pound spring gun, and the grass is just too wet and dewy to lie down and start crawling my way towards the rabbit. So instead I just slowly walk my way forward, trying not to make too much noise or disturbance. And every time the rabbit looks up, I pause, wait till the rabbit goes back to feed again, and then start walking forward again. It's a bit slow and tedious, but as you can see, it can get you within range. I will admit this isn't the most entertaining or exciting of footage, watching me slowly sneak up to a rabbit. For those of you who prefer me to just take the shot and be done with it, but to take that shot you need to get within range of the rabbit, and that's what you need to do, stalk. It doesn't always work, but if you put the time and effort in, it will surprise you sometimes how close you can get to that rabbit for a clean shot. Once I got myself within about 35 yards of the rabbit, which is my zero range for the HW97, I very slowly, cautiously sat down on a reasonably flat bit of the field because it was quite rutty here, caught my breath, then brought the rifle up onto aim. I've got the little ATN shot track fitted to the gun to catch the footage, and took the rabbit with a nice headshot and watched his mate run off into the distance. Then I recocked and loaded the rifle before I moved on, because you never know what might be just in front of you. Once I made my way over to the rabbit, I got myself into a bit of a dither here, wondering what to do with the rifle. I didn't want to set it into the grass because it was very wet. It wouldn't balance over my knee, so I decided to lean it up against my shoulder. The rabbit was about 3/4 size, a wee bit smaller than what I thought it was, but it was still taking a nice headshot. Once the bunny was bagged, I gave my hands a bit of a wipe with some wet grass and even the rifle, as there was a couple of drops of blood in the stock, however that got there. Then motored on to the next spot. This spot here it's like a very small paddock. It maybe was a garden at one time because there's an old abandoned building to the left hand of the screen just out of picture. And I was slowly making my way up it when I spotted just the tip of a pair of ears in front of me. A rabbit just about 15 yards away. And took the shot. As you'll see, the pellet hit a wee bit lower than I thought it would. I think it was getting mixed up between the 177 and the .22 air rifles, but it was more a neck and throat shot, but it seemed to do the job. Not as clean as I would have liked it, as a headshot would be, but the rabbit was still retrieved. As you can see there, the pellet hit a little low and forward, but it still managed to dispatch the rabbit, thankfully. Now, just a few yards further on round the corner, you could easily see strong evidence of rabbits being there. It's hard to see it on the camera, but you can see the trail through the grass along the side of the nettles there, and the little bare spot where the grass had all been chewed down, and especially a hole or tunnel into the nettles there where the rabbits were coming from, sitting there. There's a wee bit of rabbit dung where they sat at the edge of the cover and looked round them, and even faint signs of the rabbits where they've headed out into the field another 2-3 yards in an area in the grass where it's been nibbled and poked at. But that rabbit will maybe get another day if he sits long enough for us to get a shot at him. I tried a couple of fields after that last rabbit, but the grass has grown so long now for silage that it was very little chance of seeing anything, and it was so wet and dewy, my legs were soaking, my boots were soaking up to my knees almost, making my way through it. I made my way down to the corner of this little wood here. It's really a thicket more than a wood. There usually is rabbits just around the corner there. I spied that one in the distance, but he was about 84 yards away, and not very likely that he would let me stalk any closer to him. I was more interested if I could make my way over the top of this electric fencing, what was just around the corner here, as it would more than likely be well within airgun range. And as I slowly made my way round the edge, I managed to spot a rabbit just at the edge of cover. So I switched the little ATN shot track on and shouldered the rifle. He was about 20 yards away, and I dropped him, spooked his mate just behind him, which stayed there for a few moments while I cocked the rifle and then disappeared into the bushes. This was a fully grown adult rabbit. The shot was good, even though it was a wee bit bloody. Those little 177 pellets can still do a fair wee bit of damage out of a 12 foot-pound rifle. So I give its belly a wee squeeze to drain any urine out of it before I put it into the game bag. Again, give my hands a bit of a wipe before handling the rifle, and moved on to the next spot. This is a good field length away from where I just shot that other rabbit, and after making my way over the barbed wire fence, I was starting to cautiously stalk down the edge of the hedgerow, hoping I'd catch a rabbit sunning itself, when I spied one more or less out in the middle of the field, in among the rushes and that. So I cautiously moved my way to one side to try and get the rushes between me and the rabbit to help cover my approach, and then made my way forward, just quietly walking, crouched over. This sort of stalking is a bit of a bluffing game really, as the rabbit knows you're there, but they're used to seeing large animals like cattle and sheep dandering about the field without doing them any harm. So I'm basically trying to do the same, just slowly dander up to the rabbit, trying to use whatever cover there is without making make myself look menacing or troublesome, and bluff the rabbit into thinking I'm just another one of the livestock going about my business. Of course, once you've managed to take a few rabbits like this, they soon learn that a man-sized silhouette is trouble, and they'll be a lot harder to get within range of after that. But at this point I managed to get myself within about 35 yards and then slowly moved to the side so I could get a nice clear shot of the rabbit between the rushes. And dropped him. That was another good sized adult rabbit. I could see where the pellet went in, but I couldn't see any exit wound, so it might still be in the skull somewhere. But again, I gave its belly a wee squeeze to get rid of any excess urine and threw it into the game bag. Well, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and even though I headed out this morning to try and avoid hot weather last night, it was still sweltering and I was absolutely soaking with sweat after a good old dander out across the fields. So I headed home and had a shower. But I've got 4 rabbits in my bag for my efforts and a lovely morning.